The Sharks trade Anthony Duclair and they proceed to get blown out by the Islanders 7-2.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite lovable losers in the Bay Area. My name is JD, Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day, even when they lose 9 straight games, even when they give up 7 goals for the second straight game, even when they trade Anthony Duclair. So if you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be talking, of course, about the Anthony Duclair trade, doing a Jack Thompson profile and what the Sharks are getting in him. And, you know, kind of reviewing this trade in the third round pick, of course. We'll talk about the Sharks getting killed by the Islanders, Bordeleau's night, and then some look at, you know, what's ahead here as we get into the final. I think we're about 13 hours away from the trade deadline. So before we do all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, let's start with, of course, the trade that broke about 6 p.m. Pacific time. Anthony Duclair being traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, as a quick reminder of the trade, the Lightning received a 2025 7th-round pick and forward Anthony Duclair. The Sharks did not retain any salary, so they still have one retention slot left. The Sharks received defenseman Jack Thompson in a 2024 3rd-round pick. And I love this trade for the Sharks. I thought a 3rd-round pick was going to be a fair value price for Duclair. You know, especially kind of what we have seen in this trade deadline. One, you didn't have to retain. You still have one retention slot. So going into tomorrow, we'll discuss more about tomorrow, but you still have a little bit of flexibility there, whether you want to use that on Granlund or if you want to save that for the summer for a bigger move potentially. You do have that. But getting Jack Thompson back I think is the exciting part of it. And the 3rd-round pick is great. It's more kind of pieces in the war chest, and the Sharks did not have a 3rd-round pick because of they traded that pick for Henry Thrun to the Ducks, or Henry Thrun's rights, excuse me. But they traded that pick last year at the trade deadline for Henry Thrun's rights. And I would 100% do that trade all over again. Henry Thrun, I know he's had his struggles recently, but young defenseman, et cetera, I think Henry Thrun's going to be just fine. But so this is going to most likely give the Sharks 5 picks in the top 90. So it just gives them a little bit more flexibility to kind of continue to do stuff. So love that part. But I think the big piece here is getting Jack Thompson. And this continues the theme by Mike Grier to try to acquire defensemen who are close to being NHL ready. You know, you look at last year in the Timo Meier trade, right? You got Shakir Mukhamadullin, who spent this year in the AHL, but looks like he is going to be, you know, a full-time NHL player next year. Nikita Hochak, who's had some up and down seasons, but has played mostly NHL games this year. And Jack Thompson, who's played in the AHL this year and has been awesome. He was an AHL All-Star. You know, if you just as a quick reminder for his points. So he has 32 points in 46 games, 5 goals, 27 assists for the Syracuse Crunch. Last year in 71 games, he had 8 goals and 15 assists for 23 points. And then back in it, he was a former OHL player, was in the Sudbury Wolves, and then got traded to the Sioux Greyhounds in his final season. In his final season, with Sudbury, he played 29 games, had 8 goals, 15 assists for 23 points. Got traded and had 13 goals, 21 assists, and 34 points for the Greyhounds. A former third-round pick in the 2020 draft, and I know a lot of people are, third-round pick, but again, like you're seeing his development, and you see, especially with Tampa, right? Tampa's been very good at drafting and developing these guys, especially defensemen like this, where right there's not a lot of room for them to kind of go up. And about a month ago, I did a whole episode about kind of guys I would target, and Jack Thompson was one of these guys I would try to target. Mike Greer, if you're listening, you did it. But so I wanted to kind of dig into a little bit more of Jack Thompson, kind of look at some of his draft profiles and stuff beforehand. So going way back, so Jack Thompson, before his draft, some of his highlight or kind of what you heard about him. So skating, plays a strong two-way game based on his excellent mobility. Good speed. This is from Ben Kerr of Last Word on Sports. This profile. So skating, plays a strong two-way game based on his excellent mobility, has good speed in both directions. First step is quick and his acceleration. Thompson has the ability to cover 360 degrees on ice. His agility and edge work allow him to move well laterally, accelerate out of his turns, changes in directions on a dime, et cetera, et cetera. Thompson uses his strong skating well, and he loves to get forward, joining the rush, and even leading at times within the neutral zone. He needs to make better decisions, though. Thompson can sometimes try to skate too much with the puck, getting himself into trouble, choosing to cut on the inside when he should go outside, or vice versa. Decision making, especially in the junior, right? That's something that's always going to have to that's going to need to work on. Good lateral defensive game, good lateral agility, makes him tough to beat in one-on-one situations. Uses an active stick to knock pucks away from the defender. He has much improved in his work along the boards and clear the front of the net this season, and should continue to get better as he matures and gets stronger. His positioning continues to improve, but there's room to get better. He is effective at using his sticks to cut down passing lanes. Thompson is not afraid to block shots, putting his body on the line to make plays. So this is back in his before his draft in 2020. So kind of fast forward a little bit over at Raw Charge, who covers, that is the SB Nation, former SB Nation. I don't know anyway, former SB Nation Lightning. They had him at number 8 in last year's 2525. That's kind of one of their big projects, right? Is there 2525? Every page does that. They wrote, after this was written September last year, so going into this season, a lot to tell you about Jack Thompson as a prospect. He's still 21 years old and will be pretty much for the entire season. I think he's just turned 22. When does he turn 22? Sorry, excuse me. Turns 22 in like 2 weeks, so March 19th. So they continue. He right-handed and course of the year in juniors and AHL, has developed a wide range of tools outside of his signature shot to be valuable on the back end. With all that, it's no surprise that he said he's basically the Lightning's highest defender. Again, he's not the most physical guy, but adding another right-handed shot to the Sharks prospect pool, which desperately needs more right-handed shots. Thompson's best skill is his shot, which is very good, along with his skating and lateral footwork, allows Thompson to be a very useful player on the power play, and in the NHL could lead to second unit time. Over the years, Thompson has built as one of his skills to be an effective defensive game. His mobility and positional awareness allow him to play along against rushes in the defensive zone without much fuss. I won't be surprised if he gets on the PK for the Syracuse Crunch this sophomore season. So Thompson, I think, is a great piece, and I still think the Sharks are going to continue to look for that number one defenseman, but I think this really fits in with what they need, right? Adding more offensive ability on the blue line, right? You have Shakir Mukumadulin. You have, you're hoping that, guy maybe like a guy like Matthias Havla continues to pan out. Yan LaRock, who has shown it in juniors, but hasn't really gotten a chance here as a professional. I think this has a chance, I think, to be a really, really nice piece as the Sharks continue to kind of look to rebuild this blue line pipeline here. And I think Thompson probably tops out as a second pairing defenseman. But again, you basically turn Steven Lorentz into Anthony Duclair. Anthony Duclair came in here, did exactly what he was supposed to, right? Helped some of the young guys, scored some goals, and then you turned him into another asset. We'll see what happens with a third round pick. But getting a guy who's going to be playing NHL games at some point next season. The Sharks did say he's gonna report to the Barracuda right now, which makes sense. There's such a log jam with the defenseman, but like, I love this. I love the upside from Thompson. I think this is a home run trade from Mike Greer for a guy. Again, Anthony Duclair. Love Anthony Duclair. Anthony Duclair is gonna be one of those Sharks that you look back and like, oh yeah, he played. What a great season he had here. Great guy around. But again, Anthony Duclair is not going to be part of your long-term future. And I know he was great for guys like Eklund and Zetterlund and stuff, but remember, we're looking to build long-term sustainable success. And I think Jack Thompson is going to be a really nice piece for the Sharks to help solidify this blue line. So we'll get into the actual game as the Sharks lose their 9th straight game, this time 7-2. So we'll talk about Bordeleau tonight, all that good stuff, and then some more trade deadline stuff here at the end. So we'll start with that in just 1 second. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there's more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals. There's no prep, no mess meals. Factory meals are ready to heat and eat, so there's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed. They're flexible for your schedule. You can get as much or as little as you need by choosing your meals every week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. And you can sign up and save. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout every meal and is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So head to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL. Use code LockedOnNHL to get 50% off. That's code LockedOnNHL at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL to get 50% off. All right, we're gonna spend a little bit of time talking about this game because, again, this is 9 straight losses for the Sharks as they lose 7-2. And this game was basically over from the jump because the Sharks gave up a goal 19 seconds into this game, which is, again, kind of weird. Yep, 19 seconds in, gave up a goal. That's about it. But some positives. We finally got to see Bordeleau playing tonight and got a chance to play first line for a little bit. Lions got really squishy here at the end of the game because they were down a bunch, and I don't know if David Quinn was trying to find some stability, whatever, trying to find some juice, whatever it was. So the Lions, we usually go through all the lines, everything like that. Not going to really do that tonight because, again, this game was whatever. So Bordeleau, though, I think he's kind of the big focus of tonight, and what kind of saw some positives, saw some stuff he's going to need to continue to work on. So, I think for Bordeleau, we know what he can do in the offensive zone. And you saw that tonight, right? They highlighted, if you watched on the broadcast, they highlighted especially on the power play, a really nice play where he, kind of loses the puck at the half wall, but continues the forecheck, get some pressure. Again, we know Bordeleau's not the biggest guy, but get some pressure. The defender loses the puck, and then the Sharks get it, continue the cycle, which eventually leads to a Bordeleau goal. Nice job by Eklund there to kind of stay patient. The defender goes down. Eklund just kind of sidesteps the defender as he goes, tries the starfish and sidesteps him and gets the puck towards the net, where you had both Bordeleau and Granlund kind of sitting there, and Bordeleau is the one who got the tip in. So congrats to Bordeleau getting that second goal. So good to see there. You saw the creativity in front of the net, kind of in the offensive zone. Continue, I thought he had another couple other good chances there. You saw him kind of in front of the net. Again, he's not the biggest guy, but he's not afraid to kind of get his nose dirty and get in there. And that's something you've seen in the AHL that he's continued to work on. Still needs to work on kind of the board battles and stuff. And I don't expect Bordeleau to ever be one of those, like, he's going to win a bunch of board battles, and that's fine, right? He's 5'9". That's just, all right, you're square peg, round hole, whatever. Definitely, though, needs to work on the defensive zone, and I think it was this 5th or 6th goal. Got puck watching, right? And that's just going to come with reps and routines and stuff like that. You saw Quinn kind of talking with him on the bench, and that's going to, what you want to see is okay, here's my shift. Let's feedback. How do we continue to kind of grow and develop from this? And the big thing for Bordeleau will be like what we've seen from Eklund, right? Eklund doesn't really make the same mistake twice, right? Is he kind of learns and kind of applies that to his next shift. And we've seen that even in games where from Eklund is, okay, something happens, he messes up, but then that same thing happens later in the game, and Eklund kind of attacks it differently. So can Bordeleau kind of use that as he gets? That's going to be the big thing, right? Is, yes, we know he does a lot of great things in the offensive zone. What can he do in the defensive zone? Again, I'm not expecting Bordeleau to become like a Selke shutdown defensive, but again, just don't be a negative. That's the big thing. Just try hard. Don't be a negative. So a lot of, this game was not close in a lot of ways, but good to see Bordeleau getting an opportunity. We'll see what happens, because it's hard to project onto Saturday kind of what's going to happen with so many potential moving parts here. But I expect Bordeleau to be up the rest of the season. Again, can he take what he saw? Can he take what he learned and continue to apply it? And I did like seeing him get an opportunity on power play 1, especially with Duclair gone right now. It's good to see him being put in a position to succeed there. I wonder if we do see some lineup changes. Again, hard to kind of figure out anything, because we don't know who's going to be here, who's not going to be here, who's going to be added. So, I mean, the Sharks if they make some trades, wouldn't be surprised if you see some guys coming back here. So, but overall, I mean, poor Magnus Krona got kind of left in there all night. Definitely some fluky goals, definitely some goals that he wanted to have back. It's, we'll talk about Kaapo Kahkonen and kind of that here in a minute. If there was any thought behind keeping Magnus Krona. I know Shang Peng said that, or Quinn had said wanted, he wanted to see how Magnus Krona would kind of bounce back. But I think that's how he would kind of bounce back. So we'll discuss that here in a little bit, and kind of what this means if not putting Kaapo Kahkonen and everything like that. But it was nice to see that Eklund passed to Bordeleau. Well, at least something positive came out of this game. So yeah, we'll talk about Kaapo Kahkonen, what's left for the Sharks, and all that's as we head into the trade deadline here in just 1 second. No matter how the last game went, anytime you take the field, you got a shot at greatness. Give your team the best shot at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Indeed's the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites hoping to find candidates with the right skills, you need one powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Indeed partners with you every step of the hiring process. Find great talent through time-saving tools like Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. And with Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a job, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description. You can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applications that meet your must-have requirements. So, join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Official offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/lockedon to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right. I think, again, Kaapo Kahkonen was the backup tonight. Did not come in the game, which kind of interesting, right? And we have not seen anything really in the goalie market. And maybe this was just, David Quinn just wanted to see how Magnus Krona got shelled. What would happen tonight. And, Magnus Krona, he kept fighting this entire game. Still very raw, still, a long way to go with him. And I don't think this game or even the last game is any, you're going to have a wide range of outcomes with these goalies as they continue to play and develop and grow, right? Don't get too high based on how he played last game. Don't get too low based on how he played tonight. But Kaapo Kahkonen, right? We haven't had any, there's been no goalie trades. And I know there's a lot of trying to get a goalie and et cetera, et cetera. So was Kaapo Kahkonen just held on the bench for trade-related reasons? We know Mackenzie Blackwood not quite ready yet. So be interested to see what happens if maybe with Blackwood's health, if he's ready to go on Saturday. But maybe the Sharks were wanting to protect their potential asset, right? Look at realistically guys who could still be on the market. For the Sharks. Barabanov, who was held out of this game. I still think if you get a fifth for Barabanov at this point, I think you kind of take the money and run, because it seems like there's going to be a natural party in the ways. There hasn't really been, from I think Shane talked about he wrote an article about how not really much contract talk going between them two. And I think maybe Barabanov is looking, he talked about how he wanted to play winning hockey again. We know that's not going to happen in San Jose. So even if Barabanov's here, I don't think he'll be back after this summer. So get whatever you can, right? If it's a 5th round pick, cool. It's a 5th round pick. So, and then I know there's Kevin LeBanc or Mike Hoffman. I don't think with their contracts, you're going to get any offers, to be honest. Especially for those guys, I think they're just going to be here for the ride. You can play them, not play them here at the end of the season, and then they will be free agents, free to go along their way, right? I still like my Kevin LeBanc to Chicago. Let them try him out. They have plenty of cap space. If you get a 7th round pick back, cool, and let them try him out. And if he wants to stay, kind of give him a nice little tryout here at the end of the season, see what. That's still my idea. I really like it. But, and then, maybe Luke Cunnin, who's an RFA, I still, and even in the defense is Kalen Addison getting, maybe Jan Ruda, but he still has a year left on his deal. So I think Kaapo Kahkonen is kind of the guy here. Maybe Granlund. Again, the Sharks still do have one retention slot left, so they want to try to get creative with that. But it does tie you up for the next 2 seasons. So because you do have potential Granlund who would get traded if you decided to retain on his. And then you would basically, between this year and next year, you would have Granlund and Brent Burns on your contract. And then Erik Karlsson still has 3 more seasons after this year where he is being retained on your cap space. So would tie you up to not be able to do too much, especially if you wanted to try to get if Hurdle or Couture, either or both want out, does kind of tie you up with what they can do. So we'll see. I still think there's going to be more trades. I think Mike Grier is going to continue to be active to try to do whatever he can to kind of get what he can here, right? You're in asset gathering mode. Try to get as much assets as you can. It's better to get something than nothing, especially for some of these guys. And I think Grier did a really, really nice job with this Anthony Duclair trading, getting one, not having to retain, 2, getting a piece in Jack Thompson where you can see what he can become. And then getting, adding more pieces to the war chest that is, kind of stockpiling some of these draft picks. So that gives you, again, flexibility. If you trade up, trade down, just something else, or if you want to trade that 3rd round pick for, another guy who's not going to sign, like a Henry Thrun type of, deal, something like that. Again, just more pieces for you to kind of do something with. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what Grier does here, and kind of as we hit into the final hours. So, before the trade deadline, we'll have you covered here at Locked On Sharks. So I will be sitting here tomorrow, TV on, computer on, as whatever comes out, we'll have you covered. Going to be doing a live show probably about 1:30 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, and then I'll put that out as a normal episode. So you're gonna have a bunch of episodes this week. So, but yeah, I still think Barabanov's gone. And I don't know, I just got a sneaky feeling Kaapo Kahkonen is going to get traded. So especially, again, if you get like a third for Kaapo Kahkonen, maybe. And again, I think the contract he can fit in. There's going to be some teams desperate to try to do stuff, especially as we get closer to noon Pacific time. So I think Mike Grier is, got some stuff up his sleeves. So let's be patient. There's still plenty of time to get stuff done here. So that's going to be it for me tonight, though. Like I said, live show at 1:30 on YouTube to kind of recap whatever happened, whether it's Shark stuff, whether it's just a trade deadline and stuff. We can, look at what the Penguins are doing, and that Penguins 1st round pick, which is starting to creep into the top 10 if we need to be worried. So we'll start talking plenty of stuff to talk about there. So make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks as well. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. And until tomorrow, live show, friends. Bye.